Mark Hunt is continuing to rally against the UFC following their decision to pull him from the main event of their Sydney card. Last month, Hunt wrote a deeply personal article about his life as a fighter, making some serious-sounding declarations about headaches, slurring his speech sometimes, and his willingness to die in the cage. That set off alarm bells at UFC headquarters in Las Vegas, and soon after Hunt found himself replaced by Fabricio Werdum on his hometown card. Now the New Zealand fighter has penned another post for Players Voice, the same outlet that published the controversial original article. There was a lot less swearing than previous times Hunt addressed his position, but the message remains the same. This was less about concern for Mark Hunt's health and more to do with the lawsuit he has on the go against the UFC and Brock Lesnar. Here's an excerpt. If the UFC were really worried about my health, why haven't they ever talked to me about my Players Voice article? Why haven't they spoken to anyone at Players Voice about the way the column was written and the context? None of us, not me, not the Players Voice guys, have heard a peep from anyone at the UFC. No calls, no texts, no emails. They know who we are. We're here. Our phones are on. Feel free to call us. We'll tell you anything you need to know. There is nothing wrong with my health. Who doesn't forget things from time to time? Who out there has never stuttered or slurred a word at some point? That part of the article was said with relation to a running joke between my wife and I. Ask me for some context, Dana, and I'll happily give it to you. And then there's the smoking gun. As far as Hunt is concerned, the health checks he passes with no issue in the weeks leading up to his removal from the card. Here's something else the UFC forgot to mention. I have passed 2 health checks leading up to UFC Sydney, and one of those was with a neurosurgeon. They can test me again if they like. It'll be the same result. I'm completely with it. My brain is fine. Let me get on with my career. Dana says he wants me to go to Vegas. Why is the doctor in Vegas going to know more than the doctor in Sydney? They didn't even use the results from the specialist here when they made their decision to rule me out of UFC Sydney. They just copy-pasted a few paragraphs that suited their agenda against me. I've got 3 fights left on my contract and they should be honored. I've got lots left to achieve. Now everyone needs to just get out of my way and let me do it. The UFC and Dana White deny there's any ill will towards Hunt despite his lawsuit. Hunt feels like he can pass any medical. He also seems determined to fight out his contract, regardless of how much he hates Dana White. Extra caution should be taken, but if this is all a big misunderstanding, then surely something can get worked out.